most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
Hey folks, welcome back to Trucking and Politics. I wanted to bring you this story and talk a little bit about it. I noticed it today. The story is fresh, I guess. It is posted as today, March 21st, from Overdrive magazine. And it says the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration to end MC numbers and overhaul the registration system to stamp out fraud, as they call it. So what I've gathered by reading this story is they're going to make a uniform system that where carriers are not needed, they don't need to use an MC number anymore. In theory, I see that this could be a good thing to stamp out a lot of fraud with brokers, with independent contractors that are not quote unquote real trucking companies. They're fraudulent. They're not established companies. My mind gets in a whirlwind about stuff like this because when I tried to get my own DOT authority, I looked into it very, very hard. I was checking insurance companies. I was checking with brokers to see who I could book freight with, being a fresh carrier. And I started running into a lot of problems. There's a lot of brokers out here that say you need to be in business 5 years. You need to have 5 trucks or more. You need to be an established business. We need to look at other people that you have pulled freight for. We need to pull your TIA. If you don't know what a TIA is, it's a soundboard of sorts to where people can publish bad stuff about you that brokers can read about. A freight guard is one thing out there that they can look at. A broker can put a freight guard on you to warn other brokers that you may be scamming and stuff like this. There's a lot of stuff out there that I've heard of with bad rate cons, that brokers will put stuff out there that looks exactly like something that a trucking company would put out as a rate con. And it looks legitimate, but it's not. It's from a fake company. Now this, what they're talking about here, won't be able to address that because it's something that, just comes out. They put a load out on the load board. That is something that the load board itself needs to check out some way. I had a bad experience one time when I was a self-dispatched owner-operator. I called about a load, and it was from TQL. When I called, and it was a TQL a person that I was speaking to about the load, they said, we do not put loads on DAT load board. And I said, of course you do. I see them on there all the time. And it was a lady, and she said, no, we actually don't. We don't subscribe to DAT. We do not put any loads out there on DAT. That is somebody that has picked a load up off of our load board and has put it out there on DAT's load board. So if you see that, don't call about it. Don't call about that load, because it's probably a fake load, someone trying to scam you. Immediately hung up. I called back, got a different representative from TQL, and they told me about the load. It was that one person from TQL giving misinformation. There is a lot of fraud going on out there, and unfortunately, DAT, the load board DAT, is full of a lot of fake stuff, fake brokers, fake loads, double brokered loads. Something else that I have ran into myself is I went to pick up a load one time. I had booked it with a broker, and when I went to go there to pick the load up, I told the name of the brokerage, and the lady there said, "There's no way. That's not the broker that you're picking up from." And I said, "I have the rate con here on my phone," and I showed it to her, the security person there at the facility, and she said, "That's not true. That's not who that load is through." And I said, "Well, can you tell me who it is through?" And she said, "Yes, it's through Landstar." And I know it's through Landstar because all of our loads go through Landstar. They're the only broker that we use here at this facility. So I don't know. I got the load. I got paid for that specific load. Everything was good. I guess it was a double brokered load. I don't know. I mean, there's so much fraud out there. And I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm being stereotypical, but a lot of this fraud comes from Middle Eastern people. And it's not a slander specifically on Middle Eastern people, but it almost seems like that's where a lot of it does come from. Taking Landstar back for an example, I have called Landstar and asked them before about some of their brokers, and they have initials like AGI or something, AGI agency. And I'd call Landstar and say, is this a legitimate brokerage through your company? Because I can barely understand them. They just rattle the load off real fast. Do you want it? They don't negotiate the price. They tell you what the price is. If you don't like it, leave it. We'll go with someone else. And their names that they have listed, whenever you call about it, will be American names like Bobby or Jeff or Dan or something like this. And when you call, it's a person from the Middle East that I assume is from the Middle East, and you can barely understand a word that comes out of their mouth. And Landstar has even told me before, "No, that's not legitimate. That's not an agent with us. That's someone trying to double broker our loads." So with all this being said, this has nothing to do with what this original story is that I'm talking about, because the Federal Motor Carrier is going after people with MC numbers and USDOT numbers, and they're trying to clear up the fraud in that. There's only so much you can do. There is only so much they can do. And what brings to my attention is what I said in one of my previous videos about illegals being in trucking. What happened when 9/11 happened? They passed a bunch of laws to try to make it harder for these people. Here's the thing that you've got to understand, folks. If you are in this country, the minute you step across the border and you know that you are illegal, why do you care about the laws? Think about it. Think about it. If I'm going to go rob a house, with whatever means, whatever weapon I have. It doesn't matter. You can use any weapon. But if I'm going to go break into someone's door and rob them, am I going to stop and think, I might not should do this because it's illegal and I might be breaking the law. Let me go down and read a law book first before I proceed on with this. No, you're just going to do it because you don't care about the consequences. And that's what the problem is with these people that are illegally here doing illegal things. The government and the federal motor carrier and all this wants to make it harder on people doing things the legitimate way, the legal way. And it just makes for more red tape and more problems and more complicated situations. Who's going to always win? The mega carriers. The mega carriers, the lobbyists, the people that have the legal means and authority and legal people at their discretions to where they can work through all of this red tape. A small person with one truck, one trailer that's out here dealing with brokers, they're not going to be able to withstand the storm. You are not immune to this because they don't want just truck drivers' jobs. They want trucking companies also. And when I say they, I mean lobbyists, the corporate executives, the people in power, the powers to be, all of these people. They want it all. They want to shut everything down. They want to make it as hard as humanly possible. And this guy here says, in the next 90 days, we're going to start rolling out segments of the registered population. We cannot wait on a new registration system. We need to do it as soon as we possibly can to mitigate fraud and protect you. That throws up a big red flag for me every time. Something I just posted on my community tab here, if you guys saw that. Why is it that when you lie to the government, it's a felony? When the government lies to you, it's just politics, right? And something that a lot of you subscribers and viewers and commenters have been putting down here, the most dangerous thing that a government person can say is, we are here from the government and we are here to help. It bothers me when the federal motor carriers comes in and says, we are here to help. One big red flag that comes up with the federal motor carriers is CSA. CSA is riddled with loopholes. It is fashioned specifically for the mega carriers. The federal motor carrier itself was fashioned for the mega carriers. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? Why would you say that? Look at CSA. If you are one truck, one trailer, one driver, if you get shut down once, if you get a bad inspection once, if the federal government comes after you, it's just like a snap of a finger. They can give you a bad CSA score and shut you down. You pull into a weigh scale, you have multiple infractions that they find on your vehicle, they can shut you down. You're done. One bad inspection can shut your whole trucking company down. They can give you a 100% shutdown rate on your company. And you don't have any other way to prop your company up. You're one truck. You're one company. But someone like J.B. Hunt or Swift, they've got a good score. They're satisfactory and they have a good score. How? How can they have a good score? I mean, they are just riddled with problems, but they've got a good score. I don't know, folks. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me what all is going on here with this stuff. It's basically more of the same, trust the government, we're here to help. And I don't like that. They even commented here. It says, this is a good example of a win-win. You may not believe me because I'm from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, but we really do embrace things that are good for business and safety. Some of it, yes, I agree with it. Some of it, yes, some of it is good. But they will always give the benefit to the mega carriers. Always. They will always give a benefit to the mega carriers. That's what I don't like. It needs to be a fair system. They need to revamp CSA. That is one thing that they really need to do at the Federal Motor Carrier. That would get a lot of people on board with the Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration if they would revamp CSA and make it to where it's a level playing field for a one truck operation and a mega carrier. Put in stipulations like if you have multiple wrecks in one day, in 1 month, as a mega carrier, I don't care how many trucks you have on the road. You can have 500,000 trucks on the road. If you have multiple wrecks in a single month, then you have to show us that you are retraining drivers and you are redoing your training procedures and you are offsetting these wrecks. If a person has went through training at your facility as a mega carrier, they get out and within the first month have an accident from driving your equipment with this mega carrier, you automatically have to go back through training. You have to be retrained and put back on a truck with a driver trainer. You have to go through extra steps or something. Don't just let them off by saying, oh, we fired that driver, we're good. But then you flood the market with 10,000 more drivers coming through your schools. No, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's the way it should be. I think they should hold these mega carrier companies' feet to the fire. It may sound like I'm getting off track here because the original story is they're pulling the DOT numbers, but it's because I don't believe them. I don't put faith in the government's work here. And just like he said, you may not trust us because we're from the Federal Motor Carriers. I'm about to put out another video about why governments lie. And that will be my next video that I'm putting out here. Why governments lie. What is the purpose of them lying to the public? Why do they lie to truck drivers? And this was a perfect thing for me to set up here and go out here and do because they lie. So be watching for my next video. Thanks for tuning in and watching me here. I really appreciate all of your support, your comments and everything. And I will be right back with the next video. Have a great day.